At first I felt betrayed. But now, I just feel disgusted on her. Hi there, welcome to Reddit Goat channel. Today we are going to have another unbelievable cheating story. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our daily cheating stories. I'm a 26-year-old psychology and mental health student, she's a 26-year-old nurse. We met in a specialized summer camp and started dating 2 years ago. She was my first girlfriend. I believe it happened so late for me because I lack confidence and self-esteem and also kind of blind to signs of attraction from the opposite sex. The next morning of the first time we had sex, first time I had sex really, this guy came rushing in her apartment and found us in bed. Felt like a movie. He was really angry, violent, told me he was his boyfriend for 6 years and threatened me over and over again over long periods of time, death threats and all. She defended herself saying he was her ex, that he was autistic and couldn't move on and that she loved me. She told me her relationship with him was abusive and that he was suicidal and she didn't want to hurt him. I believed her, asked her not to see him again and that I'd be there to help her move on. She had a really hard time, so I thought, leaving him behind, claiming she had attachment issues. This lasted a couple months and a lot happened during that time. For example, she would pretend to break up with me on speakerphone so he could hear. She would tell me he kept following her and had access to firearms and that she was scared of him. I was pushing for her to get a restraining order and all. In the end he and she seemed to have moved on and I forgot the guy. Everything seemed fine after that, though she would regularly threaten to leave me for the smallest and most vague things. Things I said and forgotten months ago became relevant. It seems she really had to try hard to find reasons to leave me because I don't feel like I ever did anything wrong to her. She did this so many times I'm not going to write them all, but every time I was the one in the wrong. I had to explain myself, assume she was right and apologize so she would take me back. And she always did. These were the kind of tests she was putting me through, like she wanted to see me suffer or to see how sad I would get if I lost her. This hurt me a lot because I never felt safe in the relationship. She had me by the balls and she knew it. I was blinded because to me this was the first time a girl showed interest in me. Fast forward to a couple of months, around the start of the pandemic. We were planning on living with each other by then. She works in a psychiatric ward. She meets this patient, who just tried to commit suicide, and they become friends, so I thought. She tells me she feels understood with him since they share a similar past. I was okay with this, thinking that all they do is play chess and talk about mental illness. I trusted her. Then a month ago I found their messenger chat by accident, received a message from him while browsing on her computer for a movie. They were dating, saying things like good night and good morning my love and I love you etc. I was devastated. I confronted her with it. She said she was so sorry, that I didn't deserve that she didn't know what she was thinking, he was her patient after all so it is totally illegal. Told me he made the move on her, 2 months ago, that they never had sex. She asked for forgiveness, said she wanted to stay with me and still wanted to live with me. She promised she would not talk or text him anymore and that I was the one she chose. I asked for time to think. A week later she contacted me, asking me to come back to help her with her move in her new apartment, where I was originally supposed to move into. So, again, blinded, I did. I told her I wanted to work with her to fix our relationship, from my newly found trust issues to the things that led her to cheating in the first place. Apparently, she felt our relationship was too one-way and that I didn't take enough things in charge. Still, I felt that cheating was too recent to move in with her right away, thank God. I helped her with everything, disassembled and reassembled her furniture, helped her with boxes, got her the keys, everything. She did not have a key for me yet though. This post-cheating time was weird for me as well because I was full of mixed feelings, but I sincerely wanted things to get back to normal. Then, last week, I slept over at her place. We eat breakfast and she leaves for work while I go back to bed. Then at 10 a.m. the guy from the psychiatric ward comes in. He has the key to her apartment. We're like, what are you doing here? We ended up talking for 3 hours. She told him I was her best friend who had feelings for her and couldn't move on, massive déjà vu from my perspective. That she tried to leave me many times before but I just wouldn't leave. She's the one who made the move on him 4 months ago. They had sex on their second date and he didn't know I was her boyfriend for 2 years prior. She still had sex with him regularly. He was in shock and so was I, though I already knew that he existed. We uncovered all her lies to both of us. Felt like a movie, again. Then he confronted her and she blocked me on everything. In the end, she chose him and later that night he just texted me that they were happy together and he stayed with her. I don't know what she told him. But that's not all. My ex had one of her friends as a roommate before her move. I knew that one time, they got angry at each other, and I remember my ex calling me saying my roommate is crazy, she is delirious, she is saying I have to have boyfriends at once. I didn't make a big deal out of it. Now I know she was afraid of her roommate telling me the truth. So, today, I contacted said roommate. She told me that my ex was actually cheating from the very beginning of our relationship, for all the 2 years. That the autistic guy wasn't so crazy after all, and they actually never stopped seeing each other and having sex. Me, the autistic guy and the psychiatric ward guy, all at once. And there were others as well. Like 5 to 6 different men. She also went to swingers club to have sex. She bragged to her roommate about how we were all different in bed. When asked why she would do this, she'd smile and say, "I don't really know, haha." Her roommate served as an alibi most of the time. She actually had a bunch of abusive stories of her own with my ex. She's the one who thinks my ex is a narc. That's why they were always fighting. So here's my theory. Her ego, her career and her reputation at her job are the most important things to her. I never saw her mad for something else. If she felt bad for the suicidal autistic guy, it's because she thought everyone's going to think it's my fault. She actually made me listen to a voicemail by him where he mumbled and cried, and she laughed. Apparently she even danced to the sound of his ringtone when he was calling to talk about his suicidal thoughts. She even shared with her roommate pictures from afar of a psychiatric ward guy before they even started talking, as if she knew he would be her next victim. She is broken inside because of events that happened to her at a very young age. She doesn't know what love is. She feeds off of emotional reactions from others because she's empty inside. She spots guys that are broken down, low self-esteem, no experience, suicidal, etc. and thrives on manipulating them. She recruits victims at her jobs. Before I met her, she even slept with a 17-year-old mentally deficient guy she met at a previous job. That's scary as hell to me. At first I felt betrayed, sad and angry. I regret giving her a second chance. I feel stupid. Now I just feel disgusted and disgusted. I feel like I shook the devil's hand. And I have to get an STD checkup. I told the psychiatric ward guy, her new boyfriend, to do the same. I'm still in shock since the scope of the cheating went from bad to really bad to really, really bad. But now that I know everything, I feel like I can finally move on from that dark, manipulative first girlfriend of mine. I don't know how long it will take. But I know I did nothing wrong. I'm not the guy she fell out of love with. I was just another guy on a long list of victims. I was so happy with her, found my confidence, proved myself I could be a good lover, a romantic, who could please a girl sexually. I don't care if it was all fake for her since my feelings for her were real, and I did learn something from it. Life is ahead and it's a bit early to tell, but I think I'll be fine. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.